Now, let me zoom back here a little bit. If you are working on a large canvas like this, what I typically like to do is I zoom out quite a bit. So I'm just working on a very, very tiny version of the picture. So I'm trying to let's just make a couple of quick little models here with some large hands. There's one. It's not particularly good, but it's a start. You gotta start somewhere. Just make one bad one and keep going. I mean, you might notice that I'm working in quite a low amount of details here. Because the problem is, when you get beginners doing concept art or whatever, they zoom way in. And they start by not creating like a circle for the head, but no. They start by doing the eyes first. And this is the eye for the character, and this is the nose, and get some sort of eyebrows. And this might look alright, it's not horrible. It's got like very mischievous smile. No, it's like evil character. It's gotta have a frowning evil character. But then you get to this point where you have to start expanding the character. You're thinking to yourself like, okay, maybe something like this, and it's gotta have those Mega Man rounds there, and then I guess something, and it's got pauldrons. We're gonna do those Warcraft style. No, that's too small. Create like larger. Yeah, there we go. This is Warcraft, baby. It's gotta have a large. Yeah, there we go. That's even larger, so it's more effective. And they just keep on making, I guess, G's. And if you have a lot of G's, that's just gonna. You hope that that's gonna make the picture very good. Well, that's just never gonna happen, because you're still nowhere near doing anything that resembles a final character. You just have a bunch of details here, and maybe you start doing, okay, this is looking stupid, so I have to fix this thing now. Why are you fixing this thing? I have to do this thing here, and maybe it has like a let's zoom in a little bit more. Maybe it has like a radio here. There's like a radio. This is an antenna, and maybe the antenna has a little thing, like it's broken, so somebody has tried to fix that, and just keep on zooming in and further in and further in. And it's just making details. You're still on the same point with the character, whereas here I have a full character. It doesn't look good, but it's like something. So how I would approach this character, boom, this torso, do a little pelvis action. It's like pelvisy. Put a little leg there. This is very Andrew Loomis-like. You have drawing these sort of shapes or the sort of line hands, and just keep on trying to make sure that the proportions are good enough. Maybe this arm is too large, so I'm erasing here and trying to make it fit a little bit more. Now that I have the proportions somewhat correct, there probably needs to be a foot here, and wouldn't hurt if there was one here. This leg seems shorter, so I need to fix that. I'm just gonna start making details because I like details. No, fix the whole thing first, and then start making the details later. Gonna be a hand there. Gonna put a hand there. Yeah, that's still pretty awful, but we're getting somewhere. I want to do the silhouette. What do I mean by silhouette? Well, it's quite literal, but it doesn't have to be. You can do outlines for the character. That's maybe a better word than silhouette. So we would have some sort of torso action here. Something like that. Then we put the legs in. I'm just gonna scribble something down until I get something that I like. I'm gonna move that a little bit. If you want to move things, move the contents of the layer, you just hold Control and you drag with the mouse. Very, very simple. This is one way to sketch characters. You just keep on scribbling, it gives you a very dynamic feel for your character. And if you need more mass somewhere, like maybe the knee needs more mass, just kind of scribble something there. Maybe this needs more mass. I like these huge little boots, so I'm gonna make a huge boot there. Something like that. Something like that. Gonna have a huge boot over here as well. More of a circular thing there. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but it's a sketch. What I'm going for is a general form. Now the legs seem too large. Well, maybe I can just make these ones larger, because I don't have a head yet. There's no real pinpoint. So now if I do a head there, now we have something we can really pin this character on. Give her a neck. And the arms. And the arms can be whatever. Whatever you want. I like this sort of... Yeah, it sort of goes up here in the elbow, and it's standing very confidently. It's leaving his defense completely open because it's so confident. Nothing is gonna happen to me. A little study of anatomy helps with these things. I'm not necessarily making this anatomically very human-like. If it's an alien creature, it makes it more relatable if it has human characteristics. If you ever watched Babylon 5 or Star Trek or one of those shows, you just have human characters and they have some sort of clump on their face, but it makes them relatable. You sort of like those characters, even if they look sort of alien, they also feel a lot like human beings to you. Yeah, make it alien, but still make it a little bit relatable. Make it a little bit familiar. I'm thinking of this sort of shapes here. And then we can flip it around. Yeah. It's pretty good. And then finally, what we can do is liquify this thing. We go to filter and we select liquify. And what this allows us to do, I'm going to zoom out a little bit by holding Control Alt and Spacebar, which gives me the minus magnifying glass, so I can go back. The liquify window is from a gone by era, from a long time ago when dinosaurs roamed the land, and so they haven't implemented the same controls for the thing. If you try to use the Control Spacebar thing, it's just gonna zoom into a little tiny dot there, which is not particularly helpful like that. Oh my lord. So what you need to do here, if you want to zoom in, you hold Control Spacebar and then you draw a rectangle over the thing where you want to zoom in. But we don't want to do that. What I want to do is I'm increasing the size a little bit. I'm making sure I have this forward warp tool selected. You can press W to select that tool if you don't have that one. And I'm just gonna start warping things around a little bit, making the stands hopefully more dynamic. I'd like this leg to be more like there. Keep changing the size to give more control in specific areas. If I hit preview button, you can see what the original was and what the new one is. So we're making difference here. And to me, it just feels more natural. It has a more natural stance. Maybe that's going too far. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Make that one a tiny bit longer. Yeah. Then hit OK. And the difference is plain for all to see. Is this like, if it's forward, then make it larger. It's got to be larger than the other thing. Then if I want to go ahead and start drawing something a little bit more sensible over this thing, I can just create a new layer by hitting the plus button here. And I go to this one, I set the opacity to maybe 50%, 30%. Something easy on the eyes. I can even go to like 10%. If you can't see that, then work with that. Let's go 17, it's okay. And now, because if we start to draw on top of this thing, there's a possibility that it can just get lost in the scribbles below. So what we can do is we go here, we go to image menu, we select adjustments and levels, or just hit Control L for levels. L for levels. And here we go, this is just used for brightening and darkening the image. But if we go to the blue channel, and select the black triangle here and drag it all the way here to the other end and hit OK. Now we get a blue sketch on the bottom there. So now if we start drawing on top of the blue sketch, it's way easier to make out what is happening on top of here. So now, since we have something real going on, I can start with the face again. And I'm just gonna look for some sort of easy shape here. And again, I'm trying to follow the anatomy of human body. Neck muscles there. And if you want to deviate a little bit, normally you would have eyes somewhere like here, if it was a human character. But if we want, we can just leave that there and put the eyes up here, maybe. Gives it more of a alien look. So it's up to you what you want to do with your knowledge. So I'm just gonna erase, and we're gonna select a different eraser, one with some transfer, so I can just slightly erase things, because that is useful to me. So just slightly erase some things. That's sort of a nose. And there's an idea for the head. It's a little bit more defined than the thing we had before. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stick with that, but it's an idea. If you don't like that, we can just like whoop, put it right there and paint something else. Give it a large jaw. This reminding me of that James Bond guy, the jaw guy. But it's always impossible. If you want something different, just make something different. Don't be afraid to start over. You can even do, if you select the lasso tool or press L to select the lasso tool, you can just draw a circle around the guy, hold control, drag him there, boom, start over. Maybe the eyes are all the way down here. It's got huge forehead. So many possibilities. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Alright, so maybe we stick with that head. For now, at least.